I had trouble recording behind the scenes footage for this process because of how long it took. I know that it's possible to record footage over time, and I've certainly done that before, but just for this project, it felt like kind of an intimate process. So I decided I would just talk to you about how I went about making this song. So where do I start? So it all started with when I decided to make the video, If I Laugh, I Make a Quackity song. I laughed 3 times. I had it in my mind that I wanted to do something different. I wanted it to be very Hamilton inspired because the GMSMP community loves Hamilton stuff. So first came the first live stream I had where I started making the song, kind of just jumping right into it. Pulled up some strings, some brass sounds. I wanted to go a little bit like Latin inspired music as well with the beat, bossa nova, swing kind of thing, like the jazz, Latin, electronic, Broadway pop, everything in between. I wanted it to be very orchestral. So, I mean, you don't really hear any synth sounds at all in this song, which is very different from me. I don't usually do that. I like synths. I really just like cracked down on it in that stream. There were people in the Twitch chat that helped me with lyrics as well. I streamed the process because people were hyping it up and like, oh my gosh, this sounds so cool. And it's really nice to be able to have that affirmation. I make a lot of music. It's literally what I do for a living. And I can make things pretty fast. And I honestly thought that after the first stream, the pace that the song was gonna go was gonna be very efficient. But it didn't end up being that way. I wanted to spend the time on the orchestra sounds in the song, and I couldn't do that by myself. Because like I said, I had never done something like this before, and I need people to help me, to motivate me. I called on somebody that I got to know when my dad was part of this private school called Lumos Arts Academy. And one of the teachers there I got to know because I was volunteering in his classes. He was the music production teacher, and his name is Brian Atkinson. Brian Atkinson proved to be a very talented composer and orchestra producer. I had no idea that I'd be using him as an asset today. I went to his studio with the ideas and the sounds that I had come up with on my own, and I told him what I wanted. I directed the whole process. I mean, I composed the song, I composed the chorus and the verses, but there's a whole excerpt in the song, and you know what I'm talking about. It lasts like a minute long. There's no singing. It's just completely orchestra, and I would have not done that by myself, not in the least bit. I would have been very impatient with that. He knew what he was doing. I had these songs in mind and these sounds in mind, everything in my mind. So the biggest inspirations for the orchestra in this song was Open Up Your Eyes from the My Little Pony movie with the very villain-esque music. This is a villain song. Even for the orchestra interlude, because there's an orchestral interlude in Open Up Your Eyes as well, that's kind of in that vein. The emotions really come across, and it tells an interesting story without words. And then I also thought of the Breath of the Wild trailer music. So there's a song that plays in one of the first trailers when they announced Zelda Breath of the Wild. I also told him that I wanted to go in a Star Wars direction. The music for Star Wars is obviously very popular. It's incredible. John Williams did an excellent work, specifically Binary Sunset. Put kind of an excerpt in there which was very inspired in the orchestral interlude, but like an angry version of that. Because that song is very emotional. There were even flares that I wanted to add, like a flamenco guitar. Adding all these different instruments that just convey some sort of different emotion. But through it all, the song is entirely evil. It's a sad, evil, angry song, and without Brian Atkinson, I wouldn't have released this. Most of the orchestral sounds were electronically produced, but he brought in like string players and a guitar player, a saxophone player, to produce sounds that weren't quite coming across in the electronic instruments, and they needed to be played in real life. I didn't ask for every element that he added. I just told him, go in this direction, do it like this, and I'll let you know if it's perfect. Honestly, it didn't take that many attempts for him to get it right. He really already had it. He had it solid. And I'm glad that he figured out exactly what I wanted. It just took more time because I needed to find time to work with him, go to the studio. Also, to find motivation for this project was really difficult because I don't like making music by myself most of the time. I get really impatient. I also do kind of have a stubbornness and pride about my production as well. So I make sure that all the talented people that I work with can convey that vision for me. And I'm really glad that Brian stepped up to the plate for this. I praise you, Brian Atkinson. You're amazing. Incredible. The animator goes by Dice Shimi. I found them on Twitter, which is where I've usually found my 2D animators, because they post portfolios and things like that. And as soon as I see that portfolio, that's what convinces me. If the animation is good, if their art is good, their shading and everything, if I'm sold, I'm working with you. If I think you're creative, I'm working with you. With Daishimi, I told them, just go crazy. I knew that they were really well versed in the Dream SMP, according to the art that I had seen. They were a big fan. But convey the vision with what you think the lyrics are referring to in the story of Quackity. They went crazy, just like I told them to. The style of this animation was very similar to Vibrant Eyes, I could tell. Different animators, but I also loved how they went with like a very Samurai Jack color scheme with the red and the black. It was absolutely perfect. I loved that part of it. Like, it wasn't completely full color, but it just felt so detailed and colorful. It gives it that poker feel, you know, that casino feel. They understood the assignment. I wanted to make sure that when this song was done, or when the animation was done, that I would cry. I wasn't forcing myself to. I don't force myself to cry when I'm making my music. If I'm crying, that means it's amazing. I had a clear vision in my head for the song and for the animated music video. And every single person that I worked with knew exactly what I wanted. I'm very grateful that this all came together in the way that it did. So to explain the song lyrics, the first verse, the role of the king is the lonely one to play. At the beginning of the song, he's lonely, but he's okay with that. He's just like, this is just how it is. I'm the king of my own empire. Cards in the ring have been dealt in the wrong way. The cards that he's been dealt. No matter the lives of the people before me, all that I seek is the path to glory. Glory. I love that glory part. I wanted something to really stick out, something that people would like repeat. You know, I can imagine like an audience singing along with that song and be like, all that I seek is the path to, and everybody's like, glory, glory. That's just, I imagine that so clearly. That's so cool. Chips in my pocket and bloodstains on my hands. I'm building my legacy right here in the sand. His empire is built from the sand. Not a sand castle, mind you. And legacy is a very important word in his journey. So he's doing his best with what he has. And so now he's just going to build this empire, right? I'll stay until the end and watch it go down in flames. Those lyrics explain themselves. He's just going to die with his empire. Yeah, maybe the path is glory, whatever it takes to get my glory. He'll do whatever it takes. Anything, just so he can get higher than everybody else in the SMP. He wants to be the best. So the I was told I had to walk away part, leave my enemies to rot in their own grave. And I didn't think I was going to put that in the actual song. That actually came in as the first verse of the song when I first started. And it didn't fit. It sounded too calm for the beginning of the song. I really wanted it to just be angry right off the bat. Like you knew it was a villain song as soon as it started. The first string strike, the first kick coming in, boom! I ended off the first stream that I did working on the song with finishing the whole, like the actual first verse of the song. And everything afterwards, I didn't know what I was gonna do. That's also why it took a bit more time, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I had that idea that I scrapped the first time. I was told I had to walk away. The first time that I put it in, I was like, this is too easy. This almost feels too easy to put here. But over time, I was sitting on it. I let the project sit there with what I had, and I just kept writing new verses when I was like getting up in the morning to take a shower. I was just solidifying melodies and lyrics into my head, just modifying those old ideas that I had or started off with, and it came together. The whole calm, somber part became a pre-chorus. I was told I had to walk away, leave my enemies to rot in their own grave, but scars don't heal, I've given blood a taste. I'll fake the smile they've seen before, they'll see I am so much more. And then he's laughing really evilly. Ha 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 ha. The music gets really big. It's like kind of a chorus. It wasn't really a clear chorus. It's like a Broadway inspired thing. I couldn't tell. Beginning most of this lore was where Wilbur and Quackity are talking to each other. It's reminiscing, like, this is what I was told. I had to walk away. But scars don't heal, and I've given blood a taste. Quackity's been through it all. I'll fake the smile they've seen before. They'll see I am so much more. So he'll pretend like everything is okay. Put a smile on to convince the people that are now part of his empire to be a part of it. to manipulate them, to get to their heads. Just join, because you are trash. You can be so much more with me. And then we go to the second verse. The rule of the land is so crucial to obey. So his rules that he talks about with Charlie Slimesicle, talking to him as if he's going to be the next heir to the throne. Believe in yourself or you won't be appreciated. Quackity comes up with all these really convoluted rules that don't make any sense. Trust nobody. Believe in yourself or everybody's gonna hate you. The second verse was actually the last thing that I did. I had actually been sending different bits of the song, completely unfinished, to the animator to just start getting work done with. These parts of the song were structured, like the first verse and the pre-chorus, and then I had the whole orchestral interlude for them. But for a while, that was the only stuff that they had. I mean, even as I'm recording this, Dice is still working on finishing the second verse and pre-chorus before the interlude. They only just recently got the actual full song. I wanted a lot of stuff to be done even while I was working, and I wanted it all to be efficient. Everything was moving along like clockwork, but in just the slowest manner. Don't you overthink it, just do what I say. Another form of manipulation. Don't think about what I'm saying, just do it. Lay the politics out before me, whatever it takes to get my glory. Back to the politics game. You need all the power and the fame. Manipulation tactics. Telling you that you need to be famous. You need to have all of the power and then you'll be happy. That's what he tells Slime, that's what he tells everybody that's in his empire, because that's the game. That's just the way it is. You're just playing this game. You've been kicked into the sand. I've built something better than what you could ever dream of on your own. I interpreted this differently than the animator did, but I am okay with what they did for sure. Like I said, I gave the animator completely free rein. Of course, I gave my notes and stuff like that, but everybody interprets lyrics differently. And so the way I interpreted it, everybody that Quackity is recruiting into his empire is telling them, you've been kicked into the sand. I built something better than what you could ever do. And this also refers to kind of like Foolish, when he was building his own empire and then Quackity basically spat on it, telling him that it's not good enough. I've done something better, just join me. And then we get to the crazy orchestral interlude. I'm just reminiscing on it right now. The animation is beautiful at this part. The story is told perfectly with the music. When I watched the animation for that part the first time, what they had so far, even just the storyboard made me bawl. Tears of absolute joy that I could not control. I just felt it. We open up with the pictures of everybody that is in the Empire so far on the wall, and then a picture of Purple falls to the ground because Purple betrays everybody. Purple wants the book. Quackity keeps saying he doesn't have the book, and they start getting into a fight. Slime is with them, but Slime isn't fighting. He's just standing on the sidelines, just watching all this happen. Probably afraid, but still innocent, still naive. And that was the sad part when he died. He just wanted to impress Quackity. And he falls into the lava. And he smiles. He smiles, basically telling Quackity that everything's going to be okay. And that he's happy. Watching that back, the animation and in the Minecraft stream, I felt this way because it was so beautifully written, so well done. And then you see that Slime is basically in his, what I would refer to as like some cryogenic state, just complete slime. But you see Quackity trying to communicate with Charlie, and he's not happy. He actually made a friend. And he did not plan on making friends. And he walks away, and it basically cycles over again after all the sadness conveyed in the music and the animation, and he comes back, rising up into anger again. And I just repeat the first verse. All that I seek is the path to glory. When I finished producing that part, I keep telling you, I was crying because it was perfect. I am so glad how this song turned out and how the animation turned out. And the work that Brian Atkinson did to make me cry. And hopefully make you cry. Hopefully make you feel emotions that you haven't felt in a long time. I don't know. I hope that Lonely King filled a hole in your heart. The process of this song was not quick. It was slow. But I'm glad that I took the time on this one. But I hope that you felt something today, watching this and listening to the song and watching the video. I'm very proud of it. I don't think I could have done anything differently. Now, excuse me if this discussion was sort of everywhere. I'm sure it was. But I thought I should discuss it with you so you can feel the emotions that I'm feeling. Let your imagination soar. Be creative. Thanks for watching.